Chelsea fans, Enzo Maresca has landed and completely transformed this football club. We are in the last international break of 2024 and we currently sit third in the Premier League table and comfortably sit first in the Conference League. Things are looking very good this season. So in this video, I want to go over the 5 best Chelsea players so far under Enzo Maresca. I'm going to go through them one by one, give my thoughts and opinions and also highlight some honourable mentions. And make sure you watch this video to the end because you will not believe who I've put number 1. So if you are a Chelsea fan and enjoy Chelsea content, make sure you leave a like on this video, subscribe to join the community, and let's get into this list. Number 5, Nicholas Jackson. Now, Nicholas Jackson is one of the most overhated players in the Premier League, and I just don't get it. It made a little bit more sense last season because he was extremely wasteful in front of goal, but this season he's been nothing short of clinical. He's had less chances than he's already had this time last season, and he's converted more. So far this season, he has played 11 Premier League games, scoring 6 goals and getting 3 assists, and the chances he's had have been very limiting. Also, we know how good he is when his hold-up play, his link-up play, and the way he can drive the ball from central areas into that final third. And his distribution is pretty decent for a striker. Rival fans are slowly starting to see how good Nicholas Jackson really is. He's scoring more goals with less chances, so he's becoming more clinical. His all-round game has improved massively since being at Chelsea. The way he carries the ball is second to none. Statistically, he's in the top 5 strikers of the Premier League currently, and this is only his 4th season in professional football. People forget that he started as a left winger and has been converted into a striker. If he continues to play the way he has for the rest of the season, Nicholas Jackson is going to score a lot of goals. Number 4, Pedro Neto. Now, Pedro Neto is a new signing for Chelsea. We signed him in the summer from Wolves, and what a signing it's been. When our wingers are flat and have no energy and they can't be creative, Pedro Neto injects electricity and creativity down them flanks. He is so rapid. He's good with his left foot, he's good with his right foot. He can play left wing, he can play right wing. Now, so far, he's played 11 Premier League games, got 1 goal and 2 assists, and I don't feel like the stats fairly reflect his overall performances. This guy has been exactly what Chelsea need. The one concern that we had, and every football fans around the world had, is Pedro Neto is injury prone. Enzo Maresca has done very well at managing his minutes. So far this season, out of those 11 games, Pedro Neto has started 5 and has also been a substitute in 6 of those games. Enzo Maresca has done a fantastic job of managing his minutes and keeping him fit, and if he continues to stay fit for the rest of the season, we genuinely may have one of the signings of the season. The way that Pedro Neto can find a teammate with those crosses is absolutely deadly. Just take the Arsenal game for example. The ball he put on Gusto's head, which should have been a goal, and any other day, any other player on the end of that would have scored. It was just frightening how good that his crosses can be, and he does this on a consistent basis with his left foot or right foot. Pedro Neto is an outstanding player. Number 3, Marc Cucurella. I could talk all day about Marc Cucurella and how good this player is. He is an exceptional right back, and I firmly believe, strongly believe, he is one of the best left backs in the league. He has been so consistent for Chelsea in the last coming up 12 months. Since the turn of the year under Pochettino and he started changing up the system and letting Cucurella have a bit more freedom and inverting him into midfield, we have seen a completely transformed player. And now, looking at that 50 million price tag that we paid Brighton, it looks like an absolute bargain. He's gone through the end of the season in outstanding form. He won the Euros and he started this season exactly how he finished the Euros. This guy is going to give you 110, 120% every single game. I do feel like the defenders of Chelsea have a little bit of a discipline issue in terms of getting silly bookings, but his overall performance is outstanding. He can defend in wide areas. He can defend in a back 3 if he needs to tuck in. He can invert on that left-hand side very comfortably. He is sometimes found in the number 10 pockets on that left-hand side when he progresses with the ball and gets part of the attack. He can support the left winger, no problem. There is nothing that this guy can't do. He is great in one-on-one situations. He is great at cutting out interceptions. Marc Cucurella is an absolutely fantastic defender, and I'm actually very happy to see him play whenever he is. He always gives you 100%. And out of the 11 Premier League games we've played this season, Marc Cucurella's played 10. He was suspended for 1 against Liverpool because of multiple bookings. He started 8 and was a substitute in 2. This is, again, something that Enzo Maresca has kind of experimented with and also done very well in terms of managing minutes and putting the best players in the best positions. The 2 games that Marc Cucurella was a substitute is when Enzo Maresca played Reece James as a left-back. And as much as Reece James played well as a left-back, he is not Marc Cucurella. You play Reece James at right-back and Marc Cucurella at left-back, and you have an unbelievable wing-back duo. And under Enzo Maresca, Marc Cucurella has flourished because Maresca understands the capabilities of Marc Cucurella. Pochettino also did come the end of the season, but it kind of felt like he knew that he was going out. We didn't have any identity or any way of playing football, and he was kind of like, just do that. I'll go back to pre-season tactics, which ironically was the best thing he did for Chelsea in that last run-in to secure Conference League football, which could have been Europa League depending on the FA Cup final. Maresca understands football on a different level, in a different way to Pochettino, and his man management is very, very good. We've already said this and witnessed this firsthand with how he's dealing with this squad and the rotation. Yes, there may be murmurs that a couple of players are slightly unhappy with game time, but overall, every player is willing to run through a brick wall for Enzo Maresca. And Marc Cucurella is such a vital part of our back line. When he's not playing, I feel nervous. When he is playing, I don't feel nervous at all. Again, look at that Arsenal game. Cucurella had Saka in his back pocket the entire game, kept him very, very quiet. And Saka is one of the best wingers in the league. So that goes to show Marc Cucurella's standard of football and what he is playing at currently. Number 2, Cole Palmer. Now, I know that this selection is either going to annoy a lot of Chelsea fans or surprise them as to why he is not number 1, because obviously he's Chelsea's best player. And I totally agree. In terms of attacking output and what he brings to the team and his aura and everything around him, he is definitely the best player in the league. And some would say and argue maybe top 5 in the world right now. Some say the best in the world right now on current form. And I totally agree. But in this list, number 1 will surprise you. I said that at the start of the video, and I stand by that. Cole Palmer is a fantastic player, and he's played 58 games for Chelsea, and his GA in those 58 games is 52. It's absolutely outrageous and something that I like to call FIFA stats, because it's not normal to have a player performing at such a high standard consistently. Now, last season, we know that he physically dragged Chelsea from 12th to 6th, and he had an incredible season and put his name on the map, and everyone now knows how amazing Cole Palmer is. Scored in the Euros final as well. This season, he's played in a different role under Enzo Maresca, playing more centrally as more of that number 10 role. Now, I personally feel like that is one of his best positions. People are now screaming for him to go back onto the right wing because he's not played as well in the last few games. He's been very quiet, been marked out of games rather easily. And I understand the logic there, but I genuinely feel like number 10 is going to be, that's his position. And I feel like he will adapt his game and he'll be just as, if not better than what he was last season with working with Enzo Maresca. It's been reported that Cole Palmer and Enzo Maresca spend a lot of time on movements and how he can adapt his game to be a lot more fluid and flexible in that number 10 role than what he is out wide. And we've also seen this outrageous first touch that Cole Palmer has, which he repeatedly does game by game on the half turn, which just takes players out the game. The guy is phenomenal. He is an absolute machine. They call him Mr. Cold Palmer for a reason. People are saying he doesn't perform in big games, have a very, very short memory of what he did last season. I will admit this season he's had a few quiet games. He has played 11. He has started 11. He's not been substituted. That's how good he is. And out of those 11 Premier League games, he scored 7 goals and got 5 assists. He is Chelsea's top goal and assist contributor. He is going to be the front runner, and he's going to be competing with the likes of Haaland, Salah, Solanke, Watkins, or even Jackson if he continues his scoring form in terms of the golden boot at the end of the season. He is just that good of a player. However, with this role being adapted and him learning more and more with Enzo Maresca, we can see Maresca's vision with the team, and we know that Cole Palmer is the crown jewel. The reason he's not number 1 on my list is because there is a player who I think has been performing under the radar for nearly a calendar year, and as much as Cole Palmer deserves it in many aspects, there are a few which I feel like it should go to another player. But Cole Palmer's been absolutely unreal. A little bit more of a quiet few games in the last few weeks when we played at bigger clubs, or when clubs have really blocked out that central area in front of their defensive third. Cole Palmer's had to drop back a lot deeper to receive the ball and maybe go wide sometimes to then create more space. I have found with the defensive balance of Lavia and Caicedo that works very well defensively, but we do lack creatively. When we bring on Enzo, that creativity comes back up and we lack a little bit defensively. I find that having Caicedo, Enzo and Palmer works unbelievable, and the longer that they do it, as long as they're playing up to their A game, it's a very, very experienced and very, very potent midfield trio. And I feel like that's going to be one of the keys Enzo Maresca looks at, is who plays well with Cole Palmer behind him as well as in front and to the sides of him. We know he has a good connection with Madueke. He set up 3 of his goals against Wolves earlier in the season. We know that down that right-hand side, when you've got Cole in the middle and Madueke down the right, it works very, very well. We also know that he works well with pretty much anyone. I think it's just behind him in that defence. We have to work out what unlocks Cole Palmer in that number 10 more than restrict him when teams are trying to block him in. But Cole Palmer's a phenomenal player, and in this list currently, he is my number 2. And before we get into number 1, make sure you leave a like on this video and subscribe if you are new around here. Be part of the Chelsea community that we are growing here, and let me know your best 5 Chelsea players so far this season under Enzo Maresca in the comment section below. We also have some honourable mentions before we get to our number 1, and my honourable mentions are Levi Colwill. I feel like this guy has played exceptional this season, and he's really come on leaps and bounds and become a lot more of a leader, and he is developing his leadership skills as well as becoming more calm, collected on the ball, and his line-breaking passes are phenomenal. Next up is Wesley Fofana. Again, I feel like this partnership is blossoming and growing every week. Yes, it has its mistakes, but the strengths outweigh the negatives tenfold. Wesley Fofana has come back from a long, sustaining injury, has stayed fit, and has performed better and better as the weeks go by. And his game against Arsenal reflects how much he's improved this season. Christopher Nkunku, Chelsea's leading top goal scorer in all competitions because he's played majority in the Conference League. As a player, again, he had a string of long-running injuries last season, and we didn't really see a lot of Nkunku. This season under Maresca, he may not be happy with the amount of minutes he's getting, and he wants more Premier League minutes. But when Enzo Maresca has injected Christopher Nkunku into games and deployed him in this new role, Christopher Nkunku has been thriving. And lastly, at number 1, Moise Caicedo. This guy has been exceptional. He's the best DM in the league, par Rodri, who is injured. So currently, best DM in the league. He has been exceptional for at least a calendar year. This season, he's played every minute of every game in the Premier League. He's got himself 1 goal and 2 assists, which is something of a massive improvement for Moise Caicedo. The volley against Man United was just a beautiful thing to see. We don't expect Caicedo to be scoring a ridiculous amount of goals, but seeing him get a couple of assists early on in the season is showing how in this system, Maresca is giving Caicedo more freedom to push forward into those advanced 8 roles temporarily during certain patches of the game. And it's paying off. He's got 2 assists so far. Defensively, this guy is an absolute machine. If he is not playing for Chelsea, I genuinely worry what's going to happen, because without Moise Caicedo, we fall apart. Moise Caicedo is the cement in the midfield. He is the cement of this spine. He is the main guy when you go through a Chelsea team. When he's partnered with Lavia, defensively, I genuinely think we look untouchable in that midfield because they just boss it. They stop any opposition press. They stop any opposition counter-attacks. When Caicedo plays with Enzo, I feel like Caicedo can be isolated at times because Enzo isn't as defensively minded and likes to go forward and be more creative, but Caicedo has it in his wheelhouse to be able to cover that entire section of the park on his own. Moise Caicedo is an exceptional footballer, and in my opinion, he is playing to the standards of his price tag of 100x whatever million that we spent for him. He is exceptional. It's got to the point where last season, Moise Caicedo was considered a massive flop, and you could tell that it took a little while for Caicedo to get on his feet last season, but from the turn of the year, from January onwards, he's been consistently getting better and better and better, and putting in unreal performances game after game, and that's not stopped since the start of 2024 up until this point. This guy's become incredibly consistent, and rival fans this season are now starting to go, oh, hang on a second, Moise Caicedo's actually playing really well. He is an incredible midfielder. He's doing very well in that DM role. He's bossing games. He's stopping this player. And a lot of Chelsea fans are standing there going, we've been saying this for nearly a year. He is unreal. And the whole Caicedo-Rice debate for me personally, I don't feel like there's much of a debate. They're both very, very good players, but I would take Caicedo over Rice any day. The only DM in the league that I feel is better than Caicedo is Rodri, and he is the current Ballon d'Or holder. So what great company to be around, in my opinion. You've got Rodri, Caicedo, Rice. They are my 3 best DMs in the league, and to be honest, I would even go as far to say top 5 leagues of Europe, if not the world. They are all three of them are incredible. But for me, Moises Caicedo has been the best Chelsea player so far under Enzo Maresca. He's been super consistent. So that is my list of the 5 best Chelsea players under Enzo Maresca so far this season. Do you agree with my list or do you disagree? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I love having a conversation with you guys. If you are new, leave a like and subscribe. And at this point in the video, there's a thumbnail on the screen. If you enjoy Chelsea content, make sure you click it because you will enjoy that video too.